Happy 4th of July, YouTube, to all my fellow American patriots. Guys, what a great weekend so far. So the markets are closed today. It is Monday, the equities markets. I'll put out an equities video tomorrow to go over the market movements. If you want to see how the week ended, go ahead and watch that video from Friday. I wrap up the markets. We're going to focus exclusively on Bitcoin here. Guys, if you want to trade with us, if you want to come join our Discord with 11,000 other people, 11,000 people joined in a year, which is absolutely phenomenal. Click that join button right underneath this video. It's full integration with YouTube, puts you on our Discord, trade signals, live streams, TA, and of course the Telegram, which is just for signals, is in the video description, as well as our preferred exchanges and bonuses. Let's talk about some Bitcoin, guys. So new weekly candle form. Let's look at how this relates to GAN here on our resistance, okay? We opened this weekly candle below resistance, and again, we had that wick down. Let's go ahead and get our fibs here for support. Trend-based fib, we'll go from the swing high down to that swing low, up to that swing high. That's how I got that 618 at 18,230. You can see we wick through it. We're stuck between the 0.5 fib at 20,933, the 618 at 18,230, and this is a very tiny candle. The theme of this video is we need a catalyst. We need the markets to rally or the markets to sell, and we need Bitcoin will get movement one way or the other, okay? Looking here at the money flow on the weekly time frame, definitely oversold, but again, there's room on the monthly, so we'll see what happens. Indicators are just indicators. If something bad happens, if a catalyst happens to the downside, the indicators, what they say doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. It's just the market sentiment, market psychology, that's what matters. But this is bearish still, and now we're open below resistance here, so we'll see what ends up happening here in a weekly. It's a very lagging time frame. Looking at the daily, we're going to look at some different levels here, but on the daily you can see we're holding our 55 hold. This is the HMA moving average. This is the TGMA trend gradient moving average from Fractal Trade 15. You can type in TGMA if you want to get this. You can change it to EMAs, simple moving average. It gives you a bunch of choices, and I have this one on the whole 55, which is basically a zero lag moving average. Use it for trend health, okay? You can see use it for trend health, helps you find entries and exits from trades as well. But looking here on the daily, through this in Wyckoff, you basically have a wave structure. That's all we have right now. It's just a wave up and then a wave down, right? But basic TA, trying to get a higher low structure here going. Let's look at a couple different things for some confluence. Money flow, of course, we're below the median line. We're still in bearish territory, being hung up with resistance from the 1355 EMA cloud. I want to see where Ichi's at here on the daily. It's going to be above us, obviously. Yeah, we got a lot of room here on the daily still, okay? So that's why we go down time frames. Go to 8 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour. See exactly where you're at. Still a big fat cloud. Where is that 200, 233? Here's our 144, the pink line. 200, 233 are up here at 36.5 respectively and 37.3. Okay, again, my market top for a rally. It's a dynamic market top because these will be descending. So wherever these are, remember, understanding where you are, macro environment, what type of environment you're trading in, Fed raising interest rates, very bearish for risk assets still, okay? And of course, when you catch these types of moves like the 48,266 trade that I put in and talked about here on YouTube as well, this is a 65% move down from the 48,266, okay? So the 200, 233, very key here on the daily time frame. Notice it's skirting along the top of the Kumo cloud here. Again, just further confluence for resistance. I want to look at a couple more things here. Let's see what the Nubia is doing, our VWAP strategy. And you can see the heaviest supply line is up here if you're 200, 233. And then let's look at the Donchian, okay? I want to see what our trend's looking like here in the Donchian. Gives us kind of a ceiling and a base for range. I mean, up here at the very top of the Donchian is your 200, 233, the 144 coming down to your current trend peak, which is right here at about 31,826, and you're kissing the bottom of the Donchian. So you would like to think if the markets do get a little bit bullish, July seasonally is typically a bullish month in equities, but we got a lot going on, guys. I'm going to stay tuned to this channel because I'm going to keep you updated on the rate hikes, the news, the meeting minutes, the GDP report coming out for Q2 is coming out this month, and that could show that U.S. is already in a recession. Remember, we don't have any margin compression. All of the sell-off so far has been based on inflation, based on the Fed raising raising interest rates. But the analyst consensus for this year still, Q3 and Q4 is 11% growth in the S&P. When they have to revise those earnings, boom, there's the next leg down, the beginning of the next leg down. So in between now and then, we could have some rallies. But guys, until something changes, I'm sticking to my guns. And this is all bear market rallies, rallies to fade, rallies to sell. Okay. So again, we have the 45 angle as well from the pandemic low coming through here, which is where you're getting a cross section. That's going to be really stiff resistance there when we get up to that level. Okay. If we get up to that level. So let's go ahead and jump over 8-hour time frame. Again, here's that dragon trade that we put into the Telegram and to our Discord. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Got a nice price descension off of this. We see our whole 55. We did pump above it. Let's look at some indicators here as well. Looking at the money flow. First off, you got a double bottom on the money flow right off the EMA cloud. So you're in bullish territory on the money flow. Hence, you got this nice little pump up so far. Let's see what the cloud's doing here. See how much closer our resistance is. Notice on the current trend here, if the Ganfan, you are below the 45. You got some room up here still. You can get up to this cloud before you really start hitting some heavy resistance. This is tucking in a little bit. Okay, you get a little bit of a tuck here on the cloud. Again, that's because of accumulation in a range, right? And you want to keep that higher low structure. You broke it down here when you came back down here, but still higher than your base where you found support at 17.5, okay? So you want to try to keep that structure intact. And if we want to look at more immediate fib levels, we'll do that in just a second, but let's go ahead and get this off. Let me look at the Donchian here as well. See what our ceiling and base are on the 8-hour time frame. And very narrow range. You see this? We were essentially at the base. You have your ceiling essentially 20,876, 20,850, somewhere in there. And again, you can break the Donchian, but it's pretty accurate for determining where you're at, right? You can fall through it, you can pump above it, but it's been pretty accurate for determining where you're at in this wave type formation. But the longer you are here, the weaker you will make resistance. And of note, always know where your 200, 233 is in a bear market, okay? Because remember, baby steps. Got to start in the 1 hour, flip it at the 1 hour. Go to the 4 hour, flip the 200, 233 on the 4 hour. Go to the 8 hour, go to the daily, right? It's all baby steps. And you're at 27.8 and 28.3. So we could just roughly say 28K between the two of them, okay? And we're trading at 19,755 at the time of this recording. So if we want to get a closer wave projection here, just grab our trend-based fib, do a really narrow wave, right? Let's get a really close wave just to get some resistance level ideas here. You can see we hit the 382, wicked it perfectly here. Try to pump up, got rejected, moving up to the 618. So what we have here in levels, we have the 382 at 19,625, the 0.5 at 19,894, the 618 at 20,162, the 1 fib at 21,032. And again, this is a very narrow wave projection, guys. But again, I'm just looking at the accuracy of how this fib has laid out. So, you know, this looks pretty good for right now. This looks like we're going to vacillate still in this range. Again, the need for a catalyst. 4-hour time frame. Something to note, we are above the whole 55 in the daily. We're above the whole 55, our trend health. In the daily, in the 8-hour, and also in the 4 hours, you can see, working our way through the different Ganfan levels. Look how accurate these Gan levels are tracking. You see that? Being used as support, being used as resistance, and you pumped up through it, you're in the next level. So you're trying to base, and here's our Wyckoff range, right? So you're trying to base here. You want to try to base. Get that cup type pattern. Use this Ganfan as support. Maybe crawl up it, come out, get some type of cup pattern, and then propel up to your next level. That's what you want to do. Now, we got to see how the equities open. I don't know how they're going to open. They finished the end of the day Friday slightly up. So we'll see if that holds through this week. But again, lots of different reports coming out, guys. Lots of reports coming out that affect the economy, which will affect people's risk profiles, hedge funds, institutions, banks. It'll affect their risk profiles in what they invest in and where they invest. So we have to watch it closely. Everything is tied together. Do you guys like the patriotic shirt here? The stars. I got stars on. They're kind of, I guess they're broken. I don't know. You know how designers are. They think that looks cooler, I guess. But so let's see if we get a base up here and if we can continue to move up. Let me see what Ichi and everything's doing on the 4 hour. And then let's check out our 200, 233 and try to find confluence with some indicators as well. So we got, we tapped, you see that? We tapped the narrow part of the cloud. Remember we talked about this last video? Very narrow part of the cloud. This is a great opportunity to try to break through the cloud. I mean, it's a very small area here, but you can break through. There's almost no resistance. And then looking at this here, this is a little bit thinner, okay? So if you can base up here, do something like that and come through, start using this as support, you know, you could pull back, have a pullback again and start moving up again. So we'll see if we do make some progress like that. I'm surprised that we even got that nice little tap there. So that's a good tap. We'll see if this holds up. And let's look at the Nubia, and I want to look at our 200, 233 as well in relation to the Nubia. Remember, Nubia is our VWAP strategy for volume weighted average price. So we'll turn that on. And you can see, look at that, we hit the supply line right here. So that's a, you know, sell signal there. Got a weak buying line here, demand line. But let's see, where's the heavier line? The heavier line, of course, is up here with your 200 and 233 on the 4-hour time frame. And these are all descending, right? So you have your heaviest supply line for the Nubia at 23.6, the 200, 233 at 23.7, and roughly 23.4. So, you know, if you get a little bit more bullish, let me pull this down so you can encapsulate this. You can see in the money flow, we were approaching the overbought area. You see that? Launching up on the money flow. So we'll see. We got to hold a base up here. You get a little bit more bullish. The 4-hour time frame has been a killer. And these are definitely moving, so I haven't updated my circle in a while. So the 4-hour time frame has been a killer, and it always is in a descending market. It is in the equity space too. When you contact it, it is very, very important to flip it. If you do not, you get these types of dissensions, which is what we got off the 4-hour before. Okay, we get really big movements. Not quite as big necessarily as off the daily, but 4-hour being in a bear market still it packs a punch, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let me go ahead and turn that off, and then let's look at Donchian. So the Donchian, you can see we're at a very narrow trading range here. So you're just getting this wave pattern here in this trading range. You can always punch through the Donchian, guys. You can fall through a Donchian, but this establishes a range for you here, okay? So you can see this very narrow trading range up to about 20,250, and down here at your base about 18,909. And you can see it's basically been really accurate so far. So the need for a catalyst is still ever present. 1-hour time frame. Like I said, baby steps, guys. You gotta flip the 200, 233 on the 1-hour time frame. If you do not and continue to get rejected, you're going to continue to stay bearish. And the problem is these two moving averages, the 233 EMA, exponential moving average, guys, and the 200 SMA. The key difference in how they're measured, the 233 is a Fibonacci number, but an EMA, exponential moving average, that is weighted more heavily towards the front. Okay, it's made for fast moving markets. The simple moving average is weighted evenly across the line, okay, across your moving average. So I use both of them. Most institutions, banks, they use the 200 simple moving average. Their basic TA that their analysts do there, okay? They look at things like the 50, the 200. So I want to see what the banks are looking at, but I also want my moving averages that I personally will trade with and base trades off of. So you got to reject this. And if you don't reject this, flip this, I'm sorry, you got to flip that. If you don't flip it, looking back at the daily, look where your 200 and 233 are. They're in line with the top of your Donchian. The problem that you're going to have is these are descending. Okay, so at some point, let me squish this down so you can see this. At some point, your long-term moving averages will continue to decline. You see that slope? They'll continue to decline, and you're going to have an impact. And again, these are the types of holy grail trades we're talking about. If the market is still staying super bearish with rate hikes, with contracting margins, with inflation rising and everything else contracting in the equity space, you're going to see a potential for a really big trade setup when you pump up to these. Remember, this is my market top, dynamic market top. Wherever the 200, 233 is, that's where I'm calling the market top in this bear market for Bitcoin. Market top meaning if it gets rejected, it's going to fall back down. So we could see a wave up, which would be that wave B on my weekly chart, and then the next leg down. But we got to get up there, and it just seems so far away right now when you're looking at it. I mean, it's very far away. It's basically 37K you got to pump up to, right? But you got to make your progress on the 1-hour time frame. 1 hour time frame, you got to flip these. You start flipping it here and moving up, then look at your 4 hour, look at your 8 hour, look at your daily, okay? And money flow here, of course, being the fact that this is a 1 hour time frame, we got overbought here. You have your pullback. You see this is your little cut pattern. You got your pullback and you're trying to spike back up. We'll see if we get some momentum to do this. Volume overall in the weekend, especially holiday weekend here in the US, it's been low. 1 hour volume I don't pay much attention to, but if you flip back again to your daily, you can see your volume's been very negligible. Basically gray bars. Looking at the 8 hour, I mean, you can see how low the volume is. You see that? It's barely registering. So these are all low volume movements in the marketplace, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Another update coming tomorrow, and definitely check us out on Twitter too, guys. I want to get some more followers on there, and we do tweet and we will engage in conversation. And equities video, Bitcoin video coming out tomorrow. You guys have a safe night if you're anywhere in the world, but specifically in the US with fireworks. Be careful, everybody, and alcohol. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.